Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, January 24th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do all day, every day. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there, and I have some fun test knits coming up that are coming out soon, so please follow me and follow the lovely designers who have designed these beautiful sweaters, which is just very exciting. I also have show notes, so the links to things that I will be talking about will be in my show notes. The link to that will be down below if you are on YouTube, and if you're already on my blog, everything is already there. I also work at a yarn store. It is called Pearly Girls. It is in Spring, Texas, and I'll leave all the social media, website stuff, all the places if you'd like to come and check us out in person or online. We would love that. Either or both, whatever you are able to do. We have a lot to talk about today. We have things to discuss, and I have a finished object. You're starting off singing, so it's a sign of a good episode. So let's just get into the episode. How about that? Before I ramble on too much about nothing in particular. If you would like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, laundry to fold, maybe you're on your lunch break. I don't know what you are doing, but I hope it is bringing you joy, or if it's not, then hopefully I can help with that a little bit. But whatever it is, you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. Okay, everyone. We have so much to talk about, and not just knitting stuff. We have lots of other things to talk about. First of all, it's cold. Second of all, it's raining, which is like my favorite weather combination, hands down. It's not that I don't like the sun. I like the sun. I like when it's sunny, but I prefer it to be rainy and I prefer it to be cold. So I'm very happy right now because I get to wear cozy things, drink hot beverages. It's just wonderful. And my first load of laundry is currently being washed, and I keep pausing to hear if it gets knocked out of sync, or it can't even think of what it's called when it's not even and it bounces around. Our washing and drying machine are not very good. They're part of our apartment, and soon we will be leaving them behind. So that is very exciting. So I keep like trying to listen while speaking. So if I have any weird pauses, or if I just seem like I have lost my train of thought, that is why. I'll try and edit as much out as I can, but we'll do what we can. Third of all, yeah, we're on third of all? I don't know. Next up, I have a finished object on. I'm not going to take it off because I have it like beautifully placed, but I will be taking finished object pictures soon. This is my City Fade wrap by Lauren. Let's pull up Instagram really quick. Lauren, I was right. Lauren of the Yarn Addict Company? Yarn? She does, yeah, the Yarn Addict Co. on Instagram. She designed this, and I used my Advent minis from Heather of Heathered Handmaids with the theme of cozy animals, which is just right up my alley, and I could not love this anymore. People, like, I don't even know. This is, if you are looking, I would highly suggest to use this year if you're wanting to do an advent calendar or a countdown calendar, or whatever you want to call it, in December. Start your research now. It makes things super easy when the time comes and you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then you have this whole list that you compiled through the entire year. So I would highly recommend this pattern. It is perfect for little mini skeins or stash busting, or just one color, really. It's really perfect for anything. It is 2 strands of fingering weight held together, so it does create a DK weight, or you could do 1 strand of DK weight. Whatever floats your boat, or you could really just play around with the gauge and just make something that you love. It is knit on the bias, so you can see that we have this. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, this was my cast on edge, so it's on the bias. And I just love this so much. It is so squishy. It's the perfect width. It's the perfect length. I have it wrapped around twice right now, but it also looks good just once, and you could just, it's just so snuggly. And I don't know, there's just, it's something, I love this base. I love Heather's base for her sock weight. I also love my wool wash. I have a Tuft Woolens bar of soap wool wash. It's the lavender apple scent, and it's getting close to being done, and I've loved it so dearly. It is the best scent. It's super, super not like an intense scent at all. It's very light, it's very subtle. It smells just very clean. It's not a very intense lavender smell. I'm actually not a huge fan of intense lavender, but this is not this, or that this is not that. And it's just got a really nice scent. So I love it, and just the combination of the squishy and the smell and the base and the colors and just everything, it's like a new comfort knit. And I love it so much. So you'll probably be seeing me wear this a lot. I love it so much. And I thought about adding fringe or something on the ends, and I decided against it because I really, at the time, I really wanted to wear it. And I don't really want to take the time to not be able to wear it by adding fringe. I suppose I could add it while wearing it, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It doesn't really need it. It's beautiful in and of itself, both the pattern and the yarn. So I have not taken finished object pictures yet as of Monday, today, but I am planning on doing that soon. So more reasons to follow me on Instagram so you can see this beautiful item finished and all its glory, in all its glory, and all its glory. I don't know. Either one makes sense, so you know what I mean. Next up, in non-knitting news, I have decided, or here's a moving update. How about that? So the moving update, if you haven't seen the past couple episodes, we get the keys January 31st. And we are going to be moving the first weekend of February, and we have scheduled movers. It is great. It is happening. It is hectic. And so I have decided that I am going to take the next two sorry, I just got a text message. I'm pulling up my calendar. I'm going to take next Monday off, and potentially the following Monday off. So the 31st of January and the 7th of February, I'm probably going to take those off, and then we will see where I am or we are with unpacking and organizing, and who knows? I don't know how that's going to work. But one doesn't really know until one is actually doing it. With many things in life, you just have to do it and find out and learn as you go, which is fine. That's just part of life. So my point being, I'm gonna take the next 2 weeks off of the podcast. I do apologize, but this is like really, this is good for me. And I need to obviously focus on packing and unpacking and organizing. There will be videos of yarn organization, hopefully. I am planning things. I have things bubbling around in my mind of what I want that to be. I don't know for certain. Nothing is set in stone. If you have any opinions, let me know. I'll throw that in the jumble of ideas. So that is that. Thank you for being flexible and all your kind and well wishes and just general excitement about our moving, which is really just such a long time in making. And we have been in this apartment for 4 years, which is just crazy to say. I've moved locations in this apartment of where I record within those 4 years. So, and obviously I lived in Dallas before this, and then I was in my apartment in college before that. So this podcast that just tells you that this podcast has been going on for a long time. It's just crazy to say that we've been here for 4 years because it's true. It's true. So yeah, next 2 weeks, no podcast. I apologize, but gotta move. Next up, this is very not important, but it is important to me, so I'm gonna share it with you. I hope you don't mind. I'm sure that this is not a big deal for anybody, but I feel strongly about this. And probably none of that makes sense without any context. So, backstory, like things that you would need to know about me to know the importance of this story. I'm very particular about my hands. I feel very protective of my hands and my fingers. I don't know why. It's just, I cannot explain it. Like, it's just, I'm very, like, the idea of hand injuries really freaks me out. And I'm sure that has something to do with knitting. And when I was in school and past school, I played the piano. I still know how to play the piano, just don't play it as often. And that was just something that I did all the time. I just do a lot of things with my hands. And so hand injuries really bother me. I'm very paranoid about hand injuries. I don't know what that says about me, but that's okay. We're just gonna go with it because that's just who I am. I'm getting a scam call. We're talking about our hands. So, as I've been waving my hands around, you may have noticed I have a Band-Aid on my finger. And it was cold last week. It was amazing. I think it was on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Was it Tuesday? Or was it Thursday? No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. It was cold. It was amazing. Or it was about to be cold. So, and I had a bag of potatoes. You may be able to see where this is going. I had a bag of potatoes. Also, if this makes you squeamish at all, you are more than welcome to skip ahead. Stuff like this also makes me super squeamish, but it does pertain to my knitting, so that's why I'm telling the story. But if you feel like you don't want to hear it, that's totally fine. I completely understand. You can skip ahead, and you can do that now. And I needed to use them up because obviously we're moving, and I don't want to move a bag of potatoes. So I was going to make potato soup. And I was very excited about it. I love a good potato soup. It's one of my favorite types of soup, which is not important to the story. And so I was peeling potatoes, and I sliced off part of my fingernail. So I apologize. So yeah, I was peeling potatoes. Thankfully, it was at the end of the bag of potatoes that I needed to peel, and there weren't very many left, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I sliced off part of my nail. It bled a little bit. And I don't know why I'm laughing about that. I mean, Did I cry? A little bit. I also FaceTimed my mom, which, because Sam was working out, Sam was not at home, and because again, this kind of stuff really freaks me out, and I was like, I feel like I need to have someone for mental and emotional support. So I FaceTimed my mom, and fun fact, my mom used to be a nurse, so that's really helpful when it comes to stuff like this, and so she just encouraged me in the steps that I was going to take and was there with me in spirit while I took care of my finger. And yeah, so the point being, I've had this thing on my hand. I've had my sliced off fingernail, and it's not a ton. It's not like I needed to go get stitches or anything. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it's very small, but to me, it seems very big. And also, it really put a damper on my knitting. Really, like, I mean, unfortunately, because it is my middle finger, I do use that finger to tension things. I use that finger to help hold needles in place while I'm like knitting two-handed colorwork, which I'm doing a lot right now. So it was not a good time. And thankfully it doesn't hurt anymore, but I like it was very sore because I had sliced off part of my fingernail. And so I was kind of upset about that. It's much better, and it's definitely going to be healing well. So, my point of telling you my tale of woe with this potato peeler, I was a little antsy about potato peelers before, and now this has not helped my situation. This has not helped my opinion of the potato peelers. But it really put a damper on my knitting. It made things a little uncomfortable. And obviously I was careful. So I didn't get it. I still got a lot done, but I was significantly slower than I usually am, which really doesn't matter. Like, I'm still very grateful for the ability to knit. Like, it could have been much worse, but it wasn't. And I could still knit, but I was not as fast, and I felt like I couldn't get as much done as I could have. But that's okay, because we still got a lot done. Like this finished object here, everyone, and I've got so much projects to talk about. And I think that's all that I have to talk about that's not technically knitting related. In other news, we're moving on. I'm sorry if that was a boring story about my finger. Are you particular about your hands? I feel like I've talked about this before, like forever ago, about being very protective of my hands. Like the idea of things happening to my hands just is a very scary thought. Anyway, let's just change the subject. Let's move right along, shall we? I apologize for that very strange tangent. But this lovely sweater. This lovely sweater is the Long Winter Song by Tiff Nealand of Tiff Nealand Designs. And it is coming out on the 25th. And I don't remember what day that is. I should have looked it up beforehand, but I didn't. The 25th, which is tomorrow. Tuesday. The 25th, which is Tuesday. So when you are watching this, if you watch this when this comes out, it will have come out yesterday. So you'll probably, if you follow me on Instagram, have already seen the delightful pictures. If I do say so myself, I really did a good job with these pictures. The sun flare was just beautiful. It worked out so well. So I love knitting this. This is definitely, these colors were very much like throw together. Oh, I like how that looks. I think I will put it together in a sweater. And it turned out so well, and I'm so happy. We have Cascade as my main color. We have Suburban Stitcher Fingering Weight held double as my purple. We have Farmer's Daughter's Fibers as my blue. Madeline Tosh as my white, and then Uncommon Thread as my gold. More details are on my Ravelry project page, or if you don't have access to that, which I completely understand, please feel free to send me a message and I can let you know. But I love this sweater. We got color work on the bottom, and it's on the sleeves. Like, it's just beautiful. And I believe she's also releasing a cropped one. I'm not sure if it's DK weight or if it's fingering weight, but it's like the long winter crop. Because this is the long winter song sweater. I believe that's what the other one's called. It's something similar. So that's very exciting. Keep your eyes peeled. Obviously it will be out by the time you see this, but go get a copy. It's very well written, and it's just a super fun pattern to knit. So I would highly recommend that. I love coffee. So what have I been working on? Also, first off, before we get started on my knitting, thank you so much to everyone who either sent messages or left comments about just the idea of embracing your crafting ability as you're crafting and not worrying too much. Listening to the washer. It's fine. The reality over here, this is just what life is. So not comparing yourself to other crafters and how that can take away from the joy of your own crafting. And I got so many wonderful and sweet messages from all of you, and I really appreciate that. I think that was that meant a lot to me, and I'm glad that was meaningful to you in some way. I was really because I found myself doing it that morning when I was before I started recording last week, and I was just thinking about it, and it's so, I don't know, there's such a fine balance of like seeing what other people make and just being inspired and being like, I want to have something like yours, but then there's also the other side of it and being like, I can never do anything as good as that, so I am just gonna feel sad. And it's like, but that's not true. That's not true. So, my point. Thank you for all your sweet messages and just general good discussion of like, I feel the same way, I feel the same way. We all feel the same way to some degree or another, and I appreciate all of those messages and comments. So, in regards to the Gideon method, I hope that is helpful. Obviously, I did not come up with it. I just read the blog post and shared it with you all. So I'm not taking any form of credit for it, but I do think it's very interesting. I feel like I wasn't really doing that a whole lot. I mean, I kind of did. It was less so of like a 12-hour period, and it was more of like a full day period. And so obviously I have my test knits that I'm working on, and those needed to get worked on every day. So I had those that I tried to get as much done as I could on, and then I would have like one or two other projects that I would work on, and like switch out those. I would work a certain amount of time on one and then go back to the other and then work some on my test knit and so on and so forth. And then the next day, if I was feeling really excited about those two projects that I had been working on, I would keep those in the rotation or maybe switch one of them. Or if I just wanted to like switch everything up, I would work on two completely different ones, not changing the test knits because those need to get done. So that's kind of how I was doing it, or I've been doing it this past week. Obviously, there's no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It's literally just what works for you. And I feel like the goal is obviously to finish things. That's very important. But I would also say that another goal of it is also to just spark and bring joy and excitement about your projects, especially, and we all know this as crafters, regardless of what craft you do. Like, if you get close to the end and you're like, I'm so close, I can finish this within a day and I will do it all now. I will like power through and we'll get it all done and I will feel so good and I will love it so much. And so we all have these projects that are like very close to the end and or halfway, or I don't even know. They're just projects that you have on your needles. And so if you set aside, or if you like have specific time to work on these projects, then hopefully it will either spark joy and have all this creative, happy juju in your mind and just kind of be like, I'm so excited about this this project and my progress. And, I just feel really good about it, so I'm going to keep on working on it, and it's going to be so good. Or, on the flip side, you could also be like, you know what, I've worked on this for 2 days now, or however many cycles through of your time slot, and you can be like, if it doesn't, it's just not, it's not my thing anymore. But I tried. I gave it a chance. I gave it 2 chances or whatever, however many chances you want to give it, and then you know that it's not necessarily the right project. So, and then you could set it aside and then just think about it. And then if the time it rolls around again to work on it or something like that and you're still not excited about it, then maybe it's not the right project to go with that yarn. Maybe your needles are not good needles, because we all know if you're not enjoying knitting on a project, make sure to check your knitting with good needles, because that is such a huge factor. That was a long ago conversation. Still stand by that. That is still very true today. So, do we actually want to talk about actual projects I've worked on? I apologize that we've been talking for about 30 minutes and I have yet to, other than finish objects, which still counts. It's just been a lot of chit chat. We just had a lot to catch up on, you know? A lot to catch up on. So, let us discuss. What do we want to discuss? I don't know. So we got 3 non-test knits. And we have test knits that need to happen that are happening, but I have not gotten my yarn yet because I'm still trying to figure it out. And that deadline is not until April. So it's all okay. And it's just a basic sweater, and it's still, I think currently it's still kind of on the down low, so we're not going to talk about it too much, but but in other news, what are the ones that are on my needles? This is an unnamed swan show. It may have a name by now, but I don't actually know that for certain. The pattern still says unnamed. But this is by Olga of Handmade Closet, and can we even? I feel like looking at colorwork in the viewfinder when I record, like what I'm doing right now, is very important to my process of like knitting this, because when you look at it like this, you're like, I see that there's a pattern, but I don't really understand what it is because it's up close. And also I've been looking at this thing so much. And so it's just kind of like all blended together, honestly. This is no statement of the pattern. It is literally just because I've been working on this so much and I'm just kind of like, wow, more color work. I love you so. These rows are so long. So when I hold it up to show you all, and I can see it in the viewfinder, or I can see it while I edit, and I'm like, oh, I can actually see what it's doing. And obviously this all goes away once it's blocked and finished and I'm wearing it and all that kind of stuff. I can see it much better. Can we even with this pattern? Oh my goodness. So this is a top-down colorwork swancho. So we've got a super long yoke before you divide for the sleeves. I love that style of sweater. I love wearing that style of sweater. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, we have some stash, and then we have some yarn that I got from Pearly Girls. The yarn I got from Pearly Girls is the main color. It's the brown, which is Barocco Ultra Wool DK. And then my green is Dream in Color, a Forever Ago base. I don't even know. My brown is Madeline Tosh, and then my purple gray color is Suburban Stitcher Fingering Hill Double, and I realized that it is similar to, they are very similar, I am very aware. I didn't plan that. I just have a color palette. And sometimes it just continues to show up again and again and again. And I am not complaining. I think they're different enough though. It just so happens that they are both brown and both have purple Suburban Stitcher yarn in them. But I am really glad that I stayed with this purple. I think this is the Happy Accident colorway, because up here I did do a little bit of just the purple up at the very, very top, and I was like, I don't really know if I like this or not. It's not, I wasn't sure about the contrast between that and the taupey color, but I knew that once I knit with this more, it would just be so beautiful. I'm so glad that it worked out. So I love this. I finished chart A. I have chart B, and then I think I divide, or I'm close to dividing for sleeves. That finishes the color work for the body. Chart B is also very long. And we'll see how it goes, because the rows are in fact getting longer, like I continue to say again and again. I apologize for repeating but I've taken the total rows and I've divided it by the number of days that I like to get it done, and so I think I have that certain number for rows to get done in a day, hopefully to finish it by the end of the week. I really doubt that will happen. I have very low hopes. But I do need to get things done. So, and both this and the other colorwork sweater that I'm working on, both of their deadlines are like around the same time. They may be within like 2 days of each other, and it's right before my birthday. So in the smack dab middle of February, and which is great because then I can have my birthday cast on. But it's just a lot, and I know, in case you don't know, we are moving. In case you may have forgotten, because it's not like I have talked about it a ton, we're moving, and so I just need to make sure that I use my time well, and that's okay. It will get done. It is fine. And I know that if I need to, I can explain my situation and it will be okay. And it's not like I'm gonna completely miss the deadline. We don't even know if I will miss the deadline. We're just moving forward. It'll be okay. So next up is my the Caribou jumper by the Petite Knitter. By the Petite Knitter. And I am so excited. I made a terrible mistake and it was so frustrating and I had to take it out and that wasted so much time and I was very frustrated with myself, but this is what I have so far. I've made massive progress because last time I showed it to you, I was up here. Boop. And look how far I've come. I've actually started the antlers of the caribou. Caribou is such a fun word to say. Caribou. So, I've just been making progress. I'm now moving my progress keeper. And this is the more intense color work of the project, and then once I divide for the sleeves, there is all over color work, but it's like spaced out dots of color or stitches of color basically. So I messed this up. Look at my beautiful floats. So beautiful. And I was knitting, I caught my mistake and from the previous row, and I was like, it'll be fine. No one will know. I will just leave it and it will be fine. And it will just kind of blend in and no one will know. And my friends, if you are knitting just like a 2-color sweater and it's the top part of a chevron, people will notice. People will in fact notice. And so I finished that row and I started doing the next row. So 2 rows after the row in question where I messed everything up, and I was like, oh no. I've made such a bad mistake. I could have saved myself so much time and already gotten this taken care of, but no, I have to go down 2 rows. So I fixed it as I went, basically, which I was not going to pull my needles out and tink everything back and all that kind of stuff, and I was just a no. Because also I was dealing with my finger at the time, and so I fixed it as I went. It was so slow. So slow. So I encourage you, if you see a mistake and you're like, it'll be fine, it'll blend in, it may, but it may not. So just save yourself some headache and fix it. But, I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's totally up to you. But, like, this was, I felt so, I don't want to say that I felt dumb because I know I'm not dumb. It was just an honest mistake. But it was a silly mistake to make. It was a silly decision. I just fixed it because it would have been much easier then, and I didn't, and then I paid for it. And, so, yeah. We've got this pretty high neckline, which I really like. And yeah, we're just plugging along. Having a grand old time. I'm using Drops yarn for my main color, and then I'm using more Barocco Ultra Wool DK as my white. So, I think it's the DK. Yes, it's DK. We're just knitting a lot of DK weight sweaters. And in fact, this other one that I have yet to get yarn for is also DK weight. So fun fact, we're just having a grand old time over here with our DK weight. So, those are my 2 test knits. We are just continuing to plow forward. We have divided up our days. We have divided up our rows. It will be fine. We will get the job done. And just continue to make progress. It's not even the end of January yet. It is the 24th, so yes, a week from today will be the end of January, but we will get a lot done this coming week, for sure. In addition to packing our entire apartment. But we won't think about that right now because that is not what we are doing. This is not a packing podcast. This is a knitting podcast. Everyone? Okay. So, I don't know how much technically I have worked on this, but I know I've worked on this some. This is my O-band cardigan by Thea Coleman. I think I have like half an inch or an inch left of the back before I start doing some neckline shaping, back neck shaping I should say, and then I'll do the fronts, and then I will connect the seams, excuse me, and then I will do the sleeves, and then I will do the neckline or the button band, and then I will do the pockets. So we're getting there. It is just a long process. So I'm using Knit Picks Simply Wool Worsted in the Wilhelmina colorway, and I really like it. It's a good neutrally brown, mousy brown. I love it. It's got great stitch definition. Very similar to Cascade 220, honestly. But it's a new to me yarn. We wanted to try something new. My mom also got this yarn in a different colorway to make the sweater, and I think it ended up being something else, and I don't remember what that was, but which is fine, very understandable. This also almost became something else, and then I pulled it out and worked on it for a little bit, and my love was reignited for it, and it's the year of the cardigan, remember? We gotta make all the cardigans. So, I'm just moving forward. Do I have this? Progress Keeper is marking where I measure from. I don't think I have any other Progress Keepers on here. I really need to get one to put on here because I've got plenty that I can pick from. But anyway, this is my Oban cardigan by Thea Coleman. It's going very well. And I just really like it. Her patterns are just very, very well written. It is a lot of information. They're very long, but it's like you are handed everything, and which is really great. So would highly recommend. I have many of her patterns in my queue for this year as well. Next up, living in my happy bag, is my Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. I am knitting this as a knit along with my friend Andrea. Not to be confused with Andrea, that is the designer. So this is what I have so far. Obviously, I made a ton of progress. Look, that's where I was last week. How fun. And here I am. We've gone through almost 2 mohair sections. Look at us go. We've had needle changes out the wazoo, and we finally settled on the right needle, which is great. We're feeling much better about it now. I don't know. There's just been, I understand, it's just been a stressful beginning of the year. And my gauge has been way off. But that's okay. You know what? That is life. That is normal. It is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We just make adjustments as we go. And that means going up a couple needle sizes, and it makes it so much more pleasant, and it makes it so much more fun. Life is too short to struggle through projects on needles you think you should be knitting on when you know it would be better if you went up needle sizes or down, depending on the issue that you are facing. So I love it. The yarn that I'm using, this pink color here for my main color, the non-mohair, is Long Dog yarn in the rose gold colorway. I've got 2 skeins of this, and then I've got 1 skein of my mohair, which is maple from Suburban Stitcher. We're just really a Suburban Stitcher stan over here. We have a lot of Suburban Stitcher today. This last project does not have any in it, but that's okay. I love it so much. We'll move the Progress Keeper up to the top so I don't forget. Boop. Okay. Ta-da. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure that Andrea is done with hers. She has done an amazing one. It's like a cream color and some neutrals, and it's just stunning, and I believe she is done. last time I heard she was working on the border. I've gotten so many text messages. Lastly, but not by no means leastly, living in my farmhouse sewing cafe bag, which I love and makes me so happy. Which is, the link will be in the description or in the show notes. This is my other and last Advent project, which is my Wavy Wiggles. I'm singing so much today. This is what I'm working on. I just joined this just a minute ago. A couple hours ago. I was having my lunch and I was watching an episode of something, and I had about 15 minutes left, so I knit on this, and it was very nice. See, I could have stopped my episode and still had 15 minutes left in that one, and that would not have been fun, but I took the time and did a little self-care and knit for a little bit, and it was so refreshing. So, you should do that too. This is my Wavy Wiggles by Stephen West. This is my other Advent that I did, which is the Boho Chic Advent Calendar from Lavender Loon. I'm loving it. My mom's is done. My mom's is beautiful. I cannot even. I did move my progress keeper. So I made pretty good progress. I did finish this pink colorway. I think I was starting the pink last time I worked on it. So we're making good progress. I don't remember what day this was. I could count. That's probably the easier thing to do. Let us count together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. 15. So I'm getting there. I have, obviously the one that I just started is 16, and then the rest. So I've got about 10-ish, 9-ish left, which is very exciting. I had a method of like knitting a certain amount with each mini and then doing a stripe, but now obviously as my rows have gotten significantly longer, I think I'm just gonna kind of make it work. And that's okay. It's beautiful either way, and I'm just so excited to continue to work on this. I think this is gonna be, I've missed the mindlessness of this because everything like this had a little bit of a pattern to it that wasn't too mindless. I had to pay attention also because there were 2 strands of yarn and I had to be careful to not miss. I have certain mindless projects that are going on right now, but I really like this, the comfort of garter stitch. You can't really go wrong with that, and it's another happy bag. It's living in, like I said, my farmhouse sewing cafe bag that I love dearly and just brings me so much joy and reminds me of the winter, because I like it to be winter and rainy. It is my favorite, you know. Elena has a very beautiful bag, so I'd highly recommend you checking out her Etsy shop. That is all that I have for you all this week. That is all the knitting, all the chatting, all the catching up, the saga of my finger, the rain, the my recording schedule, my moving schedule. Again, please follow me on Instagram if there's any updates or just general news about when I will be recording. It'll probably be there. So if you are not already following me there, I would highly recommend it. In addition to all the other social medias and show notes and all that stuff, yarn store information, that is all the places. If I happen to forget anything, please send me a message, or you just want to say hi. I would love to chat. Let me know how you're doing. I would love to know. The comments last week about it being cold where you all live was just astounding and made me very jealous. I wish it was colder here longer. Like, it's not like it's frigid. It feels like it's frigid, but it's not. But I just wish that it stayed colder longer. So we could get more use out of our knitted items. I love it. It's the best. I love having a knit wardrobe that now gets to be packed or used as packing to protect breakables, which will be happening. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me once again this week. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have any crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. Be sure to go and check out Tiff's new patterns, the Long Winter Song and the Long Winter Crop, I think, or something. Everyone needs one. So I have all the knitting plans, test knitting, general setting aside time to work on non-test knitting things to keep my knitting self-care alive, because that's important, because I don't want to burn myself out, and I also don't want to go into a knitting slump. It's no good, so we'll see. But anyway, thank you again. You are wonderful. You are enough. You are just the best for hanging out with me and listening to me rant and ramble and tell stories about my fingers. Or my one finger. It didn't happen to multiple things. Goodness. Thank goodness. That would have been very sad. Anyway, we are not talking about that anymore. We are moving on, and that is all that I have for you all. So I will not see you next week or the week after, but I will hopefully see you in about 3 weeks. Who knows? I have no idea. Everything's all up in the air, but all I know is that we're moving, so we are just so excited. So thank you so much for being flexible and hanging in there with us and with me in regards to the podcast. I will see you later. Bye.